Hello. This is day 4. What's going on, everybody? Well, first of all, thank you to everybody who sent emojis in. How do you participate in this fun little game? Well, it's very simple. You listen to the very end of this podcast and you DM me an emoji of my choosing. I will tell you at some point during this podcast. And for those of you that have participated, I appreciate you. So thank you. Today, really, there's not a lot on my mind other than the doctor's appointment I had today. I alluded to this in yesterday's podcast, and I have gone, and this is what pretty much we have found out, kind of confirming stuff that I feel like I already knew, at least, the very basis of it. And that was that I have a lot of, arthritis in my knee, and, it needs to be addressed. The time to go in the right direction, the time for healing or to begin to heal starts now. And so I went in there and I met with the doctor, and they took my x-rays and they looked me over. They gave me an entire examination of both of my knees, not just the one that was kind of, squeaking and whatnot. And pretty much they said, the plan of action is for me to do like 3 weeks of physical therapy, like 2 times a week. And if nothing changes after that time period, then the next step is going to be, well, they didn't say exactly what that is, but I'm assuming that means some sort of, operation or what have you, some sort of a treatment to see, what is possible. So, I mean, I guess the good news about this is that they didn't find anything that needed like some kind of deep operation or, something like that where they got to go in and I'm going to be down and out. They did tell me that like for the extended future here that, I need to lay off the stair stepper first and foremost, and that kind of makes me sad. Now, I hadn't been on it in about 2 weeks because I knew that once this appointment was made, I was going to back off of it and just wait and see what they said. So I have to stay away from the stair stepper. Any kind of running on the treadmill is not going to be a good idea. They said walking was okay on the treadmill, but walking on the treadmill is kind of boring. If I'm going to walk, I'd rather just walk outside or walk around somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that one myself. But the doctor, she did say that the elliptical and the arc trainer were good to go. So I can continue to do that. And that's kind of, without knowing anything, that's where I had put myself, for the last, so often. I had mixed in some weights as far as with the legs and the arms, and I think what I'll do is focus more on the upper body, so the abs, the arms, and kind of stay away from the leg stuff that's going to put any kind of pressure on that knee, or on either knee rather, because they're both, what I've kind of found is that, they kind of alternate which one hurts on which day, which really doesn't make any sense, but that's just kind of the way that it goes. So, as far as, the knees, she's thinking that they're both kind of very close, like equal, although the left one might be hurting a little bit more because my right is more dominant leg. So, that's pretty much the deal. So no stair stepper and no kind of, strenuous activity as far as like, working on the leg machine, with any kind of like heavy pressure, or, she even said like, like bending down for stuff, just kind of playing it very safe with that and not just putting that much pressure on it. She said that, once I go to physical therapy, which I'm looking at probably next week, I'm thinking, or the week after, whenever I get paid next, I got to figure out if my insurance covers it and all that good stuff, but I'm sure it does. But once I get that financial stuff, with the ducks in a row, then the next step will be to book that and get that done. And, obviously they will know, like, I'm sure there's probably leg stuff I can do, because I'm going to want to work them out a little bit, but just not quite like I have. And so I'm sure they'll say, okay, you can do this, but you need to avoid that, this, none of this, that kind of thing. So if that's the way it's going to go, it's fine. And of course, typical me, I overreact overreacted. I got freaked out, and in reality, it was completely fine. You know, it was not gloom and doom, but I almost feel like if I don't expect gloom and doom, then, you know, like gloom and doom is going to come to me, which is such a like weird way of looking at all of it. But that's just how I am, man. That's just, you know, that's kind of how my, that's just how I react, which, you know, for better or for worse, that's just what it is. So, I can't help it. That's just who I am. You know, it's, I worry. And so we're going to try not to do as much of that worrying stuff, as much as possible. So yeah, that was my day. And then I went and got some lunch, and I came home and, tried out some new, with my cable company. They have these extenders. I've been having all kinds of Wi-Fi issues. I was recording a podcast last night, and you guys won't hear it because I'll edit it out. But, there was just like connection issues, and it's kind of really dragging me down. I'm like, man, you know, I pay a lot of money for this internet, and for it to be acting up like this doesn't seem right. And they're like, well, hey, we have these free extenders that you can add to your network, and, you know, we only use them in certain situations. And I'm like, okay, great. So, you know, yeah, we're going to go with those and see how they interact within my home network. I mean, I do have a lot of devices connected, but I also live in an apartment, and it's extremely congested. Without going into like super detailed and potentially losing people, I'll just tell you that, you know, within an apartment building, you've got a lot of people on Wi-Fi routers, obviously, and too many that are connected. There's like radio frequencies that get crossed, and it causes all sorts of interference. I really try to err on the side of hardwiring everything. And so I have Ethernet running underneath my carpet from my living room all the way to the bedroom for like things like the TV, for like streaming stuff, because I want that to be as rock solid as possible. But, you know, with things like my MacBook or my iPad or my iPhone, yes, Team Apple, what up? You know, with those kind of things, they tend to have interference and don't perform quite as well. And then you got to, like, you know, put on airplane mode, then reconnect, and it's a whole shit show. So I don't really want to, you know, have to deal with all that. So I hooked up these pods about an hour later, and I know it's not really a great testing, you know, enough time for testing, but so far it seems like the performance has improved a little bit. I have 30 days with them to either keep them or give them back. So you know, we'll see what happens. I guess there's like some kind of penalty if you return them after 30 days or whatever, which doesn't make any sense because they're free. So it's just like, all right, whatever. So yeah, you're gonna try those out. So all in all, today has been a fairly, you know, non-eventful day. I've just been trying to get productive and trying to do my laundry. I normally do that on Sunday, but since I didn't have to go to work or the gym today, I figured that I would just do laundry today and then start fresh tomorrow and all that good stuff. So that's kind of the status of me right now. The rest of this week, you know, it'll just be back to the normal, getting that workout in every morning, just, you know, at a different type of pace, and you know, a fresh approach, being, you know, just playing it very, very safe. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Other than that, yeah, I mean, that's the week in a nutshell. I know this Saturday I'm going to Baltimore to the AEW show, so you can expect to hear about that as the week progresses, or, you know, probably on the Sunday show. And yeah, I just want to say before I go, I appreciate the feedback I've gotten. You know, in addition to the emoji, some of you have chosen to send me your little feedback on how you like these, and I'm glad if you do like them. You know, it helps me to decide, you know, if this is something worth pursuing or not. So I really appreciate it. Any feedback is good feedback. I don't care if you're like, you know, I could do without these or whatever. Either way, it's fine. Feedback is feedback, and I appreciate your input. So thank you guys. Let's pick an emoji. I don't think they have an emoji of a knee, but let's do a leg emoji today. So drop a leg emoji in my DMs at Gary Cantrell on Instagram if you got it this far into the show. So yeah, thank you very much. And I don't know what I'll have to talk about tomorrow. Probably my first workout back. I guess I could talk about that. So yeah, we'll do that. And thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.